So the next topic we are looking at is the use of op-amp as a comparator. As the name suggests, a comparator is just going to compare two values. Let's draw the circuit for this. It's probably the easiest circuit that you will ever draw in this course. So here is your input. This is ground. This is output. Finished. That is the circuit for a comparator. I just want to, for this diagram, I want to highlight over here the biasing voltages that we are using. Okay, so what does this circuit do? It is very straightforward. You give some value of V in. There is no feedback loop over here. This is completely open gain. Remember that open gain, open loop gain of an op-amp, which we called what? OAV, OL maybe? I think this was the notation we had used last time. This is typically very large. Ideally, it is infinite. In reality, it's going to be something like 1 lakh. So if you give any reasonable input over here, like a few volts, then the op-amp tries to amplify it by a factor of 10 to the 5. But again, this is something that we discussed yesterday during the tutorial session. You cannot get arbitrarily high output voltage. The amount of output voltage that you get is limited by how much of this biasing VCC, VEE you are putting. So let's take an example. Suppose I put VCC and VEE to be 15 volts, which is like a typical kind of voltage that you would use for these kind of circuits. 10 volts, 15 volts, 30 volts, like typically few volts, few tens of volts, like that. So even though your op-amp wants to, suppose, let's say I'm putting a V in of 1 volt. So your op-amp in the open loop mode is trying to amplify the signal and give you 1 lakh volts. But you will never have 1 lakh volts, because where is that extra energy going to come from? When we are saying voltage, what we mean is some electrical potential energy, right? And it's not like there is an arbitrary infinite amount of energy lying around. Whatever amplification is being done, whether it's in a transistorized circuit or an op-amp circuit, whatever it is, any kind of amplification, that extra energy to increase the input comes from the biasing. So it comes from your plus VCC minus VEE, and that is locked at 15 volts. It's like a cap, an upper limit. You cannot go beyond 15 volts. So even though you are trying to increase your input voltage by a factor of 1 lakh, you are never going to get that. So the maximum output voltage is going to be 15 volts in this case. So we call that saturation voltage. VSAT. So what will your output look in this case? Why don't I draw it here? So on the x-axis, I am plotting input voltage. On the y-axis, I am plotting output voltage. So notice that the inverting terminal here is at 0 potential. Okay, this terminal is at 0. So initially, suppose when your V in is negative, then your V plus is greater than V minus, is less than V minus, because V in is negative, and so your output is at minus VSAT. So what I'm saying is V minus is right now 0. When V in, which is V plus, is less than 0, then V out is going to be the open loop gain multiplied by V in. But this is something like minus a large number. So therefore, it is finally just going to stop at minus Vsat. So minus 15 volts. But once V in crosses 0, so when V in or V plus is greater than 0, then you will see that V out becomes a positive large number. Because now your V in has become positive. So this goes to plus Vsat. So this switches state and becomes plus Vsat. Is this clear? So a comparator is just comparing your input voltage with the reference voltage. So this value over here, this V minus, is called the reference voltage. So right now our reference voltage is 0 volts, which is why the moment your input crosses 0, once input goes from negative to positive, the state changes. That is why this voltage is also called the trip point or the trip voltage. So once you cross the trip point, your output will suddenly change the state. Your output will trip, so to speak. So in this case, the output goes from minus Vsat to plus Vsat. So this is an example of an inverter. This is an example of a non-inverting, this is an example of a comparator, a non-inverting comparator, because your input was given at the non-inverting terminal. Similarly, we can make what is called an inverting comparator. The circuit for this, now I'll put the positive terminal to the ground and the negative one gets V in, and here we will take V out. Now what happens? So now your V plus is always at 0 volts. Now when V in, which is equal to V minus, is negative, then your V out is your open loop gain times the differential input between these two. Now the differential input is positive because V plus minus V minus. So this is now plus some large number. So it just goes to plus Vsat. So once again, if I am to make the plot, so now when V in is negative, your output is at plus Vsat. And when V in is positive, then V out is going to be negative some large number. So it goes to minus Vsat. So once again over here, your reference voltage or your trip point is just given by V plus, which is 0 volts. So this is what we mean by a comparator circuit. And what the comparator does is, whenever your input crosses the trip point, the comparator forces the output to change its state. It goes from a high state to a low state, or from a low state to a high state. What happens if I give an AC signal as the input voltage? So let me just go back to my old example of the non-inverting comparator. This is the first circuit that we saw. And now at Vin, I'm going to give a sine wave as the input. So let's try and understand this graphically. Vin, Vout. So Vin is a sine wave. Vout, let's see. So when Vin is positive, Vout is going to be at plus Vsat. So during the first half cycle, because Vin is positive, Vout is at plus Vsat. Now in the next half cycle, Vin becomes negative, so Vout switches state and goes to minus Vsat. Then once again, it goes to plus Vsat. Then again it goes to minus Vsat. And so on. So what we have done is we have converted a sine wave into a square wave. Now so far our trip point was always 0 volts. What if I don't want to keep it 0 volts? What if I want to change my change the value of the trip point? So well, straightforward. Over here the trip point was 0 because this was at ground. If you don't want the trip point to be 0, you change the voltage over there. So if I want a non-zero trip point, and over here I want to apply some kind of voltage. So let's say now you'll see I put a voltage divider circuit over here. So the reference voltage is just given by VCC R2 divided by R1 plus R2. So I have changed what my reference voltage will be. So now let's see what the output will look like. Once again, my input is going to be a sine wave. But now my Vref is no longer 0, it has some different value. Suppose it is positive. Suppose I was putting a plus VCC over there. So now my reference voltage is some positive value. Let us call this my Vref. So now whenever my Vin is more than Vref, that is when the switching will occur. That is when it will be in the high state. So now my output will look like this. Where these are plus Vsat and these are minus Vsat. So you can see we have now built a circuit, a square wave, in which the signal spends less time in the high state and more time in the low state. So this is an asymmetrical square wave, or well, you might want to call it a rectangular wave, or whatever. Basically, it's asymmetrical in the sense that it spends different amounts of time in the upper state and in the lower state. So in this circuit, we had a positive non-zero trip point. Let's see what happens if we have a negative non-zero trip point. So now I'm going to put some negative voltage over here. So now my Vref is minus VEE R2 over R1 plus R2. And for this circuit, suppose my Vref is here now because it's negative. So now the switching will happen when the input voltage crosses this negative value of V reference. So my output will look like this. So as you can see, now we have generated a square wave in which more time is spent up and less time is spent down. So you can change your up versus down time of the square wave by adjusting what the reference voltage should be. Okay. What is the point of these kind of comparator circuits? These are sometimes called limit detector circuits. What does that mean? Whenever you need to check whether some physical quantity has crossed a certain threshold, that is when you will use these kind of circuits. These circuits are very good at determining where you are relative to some threshold. So for example, suppose you are trying to design the circuit for the flash in a camera, for the automatic flash. So what you want to do is, there is some sensor which is checking how much ambient light you have around you. That is your Vref. And your input voltage, that is your input voltage. How much is the ambient light? And your Vref is something that you have set beforehand, some fixed value. And basically, whenever your input goes less than that reference value, you will say, okay, it's too dark, so now I need to switch on the flash. Or if it crosses it the other way, initially it was dark and the flash was on, and now the ambient light has increased. So now you say, I have crossed the threshold, it is sufficiently bright, so let's turn the flash off. So this kind of automatic circuit, which in this case tests the limit of how much ambient light is there. So if you want to design something like that, you might want to use the comparator circuit. Or for example, let's say you are designing the circuit for an airplane where every time the cabin pressure goes below a certain threshold, you want the oxygen masks to drop down. So again, something of that sort, you would use a comparator circuit where the reference is some fixed value that you know how much is the pressure that should be there in the cabin. And V input is your pressure meter, which is measuring the pressure at all times. So the moment the pressure drops below a certain value, your comparator gets triggered, it changes its state, and then you can have your oxygen masks dropping down. So these are the kind of applications for comparator circuits.